The Old Guard, the 3rd U.S. Infantry Regiment, is responsible for state funerals. The horse chosen to follow President Kennedy's caisson on the weekend after November 22nd was named Blackjack, after General of the Army's John J. Pershing. Blackjack was a beautiful animal, jet black, a Morgan quarter horse cross, but he had a difficult personality. He'd never been broken to saddle, hence his role in the president's funeral as the riderless horse with the spurred boots reversed in their stirrups. If Blackjack liked anybody, it was Private First Class Arthur Carlson, chosen to be his handler that weekend. Carlson, who had all of 6 months' training handling horses since being assigned to the Old Guard, was apprehensive. He said later he knew that if he messed up, he'd be walking guard duty at a radar station in Greenland within a week. Blackjack, however, had never given Carlson trouble. On the Sunday after the assassination, the caisson was carrying Kennedy's coffin to the Capitol to lie in state. Carlson, trailing the coffin, was leading the horse through a tunnel when a large metal gate collapsed. The echoes of its impact unnerved Blackjack. He would be agitated for the next 2 days, perhaps the most important days in the 16-year-old horse's life. They were no less important to Private First Class Carlson. He was only 3 years older than Blackjack. The horse's agitation was visible on live television. In both the procession to the Capitol and the final procession to Arlington the day of the funeral, Blackjack fought Carlson every step of the way. The horse tossed his head up and down, snorted, pranced, turned nearly sideways as if to dare Carlson to let him go, and even tried crossing in front of the young soldier. Carlson was forbidden by protocol from speaking to the horse to try to calm him. All he could do was to maintain an iron grip on the bridle and try to keep his balance. Then, as the two waited for the funeral cortege to begin, after the funeral mass at the Cathedral of St. Matthew the Apostle, Blackjack stomped on Carlson's foot. The soldier at first thought some of his toes were broken, but he showed no reaction. The shoe was ruined. Through all of this, Carlson kept control of his charge. The young man was magnificent. The ironic result of the television coverage of those days was that millions of Americans fell in love with Blackjack. He got fan letters. A Washington, D.C. matron somehow discovered that Blackjack had a sweet tooth for butter brickle cake, no less, and baked him one every year on his birthday. Visitors flocked to the Old Guard stables at Fort Myer, Virginia, to see the famous horse. It was then that his fellow soldiers discovered something extraordinary about the animal. Some of the visitors could not only approach him, but the horse allowed them to stroke his neck and muzzle. Their touch seemed to calm him. He even nuzzled his visitors gently in return. Blackjack, as it turned out, loved children.